Okay, welcome back. So this is just going to be a summary video of this games. I do them from some games. I'll do it for this one as well. I feel very conflicted about whether to recommend this game or not. There's a ton of DLC, but a lot of the DLC is really not that exceptional. So the base game itself, I guess this was originally like a mobile game, and they converted it over to PC. But the problem is the mobile game is a lot cheaper than the PC version, so that kind of makes me a little annoyed just at the start of it. And I think overall the game is probably way overpriced for what it and its DLC gives you. Uh, in terms of the content. So what I ended up doing is I tried to purchase it from a third-party purchaser, the CD key. The first guy I bought it from, it was pretty much a faulty CD key, so I had to actually buy it twice because when I tried to get it from Kingwin, they wouldn't refund the amount, and they were just very difficult to utilize and work with, so I just ended up buying a second CD key. So I got the base game for like $5 or something, so whatever, not the end of the world. And I was out $4 by buying the CD key from the first guy, so it cost me $10, here or there for that. The base game itself is not bad. The problem with this game is it has a core component that it wants you to grind through these challenges and just get a lot of experience, and then you can go through once you get better cards to do the missions. And I find that just to be frustrating because I don't really like games where you just have to sit there and grind and do the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. So from that standpoint, it's rather lackluster. If you buy some of the DLC, it makes the ability to grind a little bit easier. I certainly would recommend buying the Sentry Gun pack if you're going to try to beat this on anything but the easiest difficulty, because the Sentry Guns were pretty much essential to be able to beat this on the harder difficulties. In terms of the Fall Connect, I would not generally recommend purchasing this. I found it to just be kind of a boring objective. It's a great way to get better cards, but I think the much easier way to do it, and with better cards as a reward just from the few times that I did it, is this Wrath of the Damned. Now, I for some reason kept having issues where it would crash and my graphics would be very blurry. From what I can see online, it looks like a lot of other people are not having this difficulty, so I don't know what's weird with my setup, but my computer for some reason is having difficulty running this appropriately. But this is a much, much easier way to grind if you're going to do that and get really good rewards out of it. Doing the challenges section, I found that to be really boring. You get a lot of things to be able to create packs and boosters, so you get more cards that way. But in terms of getting the legendary cards as rewards, you get a lot more of that through the Wrath of the Damned, so I think that would be recommended. I would also recommend that you get the Sigurd and Dren DLC, because those characters are very, very good. I didn't really use a lot of these other characters. If you get the Sigurd one, I think you get the stories, couple missions as well. Certainly you don't have to buy the game with the DLC to get these two guys. These other guys are perfectly fine as well. In fact, you could make an argument that the Terminator is probably a little bit better than Sigurd is, but given his ability to use his axe and get some range, attack multiple guys, I think that was probably pretty beneficial. The other problem is if you're playing this on the hardest difficulty, the enemies just become bullet sponges pretty much, and that just gets to be very frustrating as well. And your teammates, your squad mates, they don't seem to level up as high as you do, so they definitely seem to like cap out in the mid difficulty range, and they just can't have the damage output to make you be able to go through the mission. So it just becomes a slog, and at some point, especially on the Great Awakening, it becomes a point where pretty much your main character is the only one that can dish out significant amounts of damage, and the other guys are just there to try to disperse damage so they don't focus fire down on your hero and kill you that way. The graphics are not anything to write home about, but I thought they were good enough. It was I overall it's a very interesting game, unique. I've never played one of these kind of card things. It adds some definite strategy here. It gives you a level up system, so you can pick some basic abilities. You can change it up a little bit by giving 3 different variations for your main character, which I thought was a good idea. I thought it was also kind of interesting how you'd level up your squad member and you could pick out some cards to add some variability that way, and you could change the way they play a little bit. For example, this guy could be used as kind of an energy weapon dealer, or las cannon, so you get to choose which way you want him to be, versus a rocket launcher. You could have your scout for your sniper, or have him for a shotgun. Um, Choose your Terminator here to be more of a autocannon user or a melee guy. So, they clearly put some thought into this. But this DLC, probably the greatest one, was the Great Awakening, just because it did give you quite a bit of content for the few dollars that it cost. Didn't really have a great story though, and it just ended very abruptly. Like, I had no idea that this was the last mission to the game. There was just like, oh, we're gonna chase the Necron Lord, and then it just ends, and there's no conclusion. So that was rather abrupt. So overall, very average game, probably overpriced for what it is. So if you're going to buy it, make sure it's on sale. Uh, Definitely does some very interesting things. There's a lot of variability in terms of the cards, so that's kind of interesting, trying to get there, and then you get multiple same cards, level them up to get better cards. And sometimes they're cheaper, sometimes they do more damage. I just wish that when you're looking at these things here, I wish the other thing they would have added is you'd be able to see the abilities, because when you start to get to these better cards, they have abilities in there, and you got to click and go out and click and go out and click and go out, and it just takes a lot of time to find things. Like, I didn't realize that this flamer gave you some of this healing ability, and that was pretty much essential on some of these harder difficulties. So it'd be nice to know that earlier. I do like that they have kind of this filtering system here. I also wish there was some way that you could just like click and say, okay, I want to upgrade all my cards or upgrade all legendary cards, because if you have to sit here and go in and out of this, it just kind of gets to be redundant. I do like that they, on the forging here, you can do the auto disassemble and get rid of some things, and you can also get rid of the animations, so you don't have to go through it each time. So that helped with not having to watch that redundancy over and over and over again. I did not try the multiplayer on this game. Maybe I'll give it attempt it and see what it's like. But overall, average game. So hopefully this helps you decide whether you want to purchase this game. I didn't see much for playthroughs on YouTube, so wanted to try to get out with some of these more uncommon Warhammer 40,000 games, because clearly I like Warhammer 40,000. Warhammer Fantasy plus minus on it, but definitely would like to show some of these games so people can see what's out there, and also to encourage other developers to make great games, because if we get better games with this, then the general population will get into this genre, and then we will get, as fans, get better games out of it as well. So hopefully this will help you decide whether you want to purchase this game or not with its DLC. Thanks for watching, and I'll continue to upload other videos. Have a great day.